Hello and welcome to our learning modules for the Living Lab Capacity Building Programme developed by the University of Applied Sciences in Western Switzerland. We are currently in module 1.6 where we will discover the concepts of open innovation and intellectual property rights in more detail. In the previous module 1.5, we looked at the business model, its definition, building blocks, and important questions to think about when developing a business model for your Living Lab's long-term development. We also learned about the liaison business model, its benefits and elements developed specifically for the Living Labs. In this module of our capacity building programme, we will learn about open innovation, its legal framework, and basic elements of intellectual property rights. By the end of this presentation, you should have a better understanding of what is open innovation and what are intellectual property rights, or IPR. So let's begin with general information about the concept of open innovation. Open innovation is a term coined by William Chesbrough in 2003 and refers to the common problem of a lack of innovation in companies due to the failure of using internal and external ideas to create value or reach new markets. Open innovation is therefore defined as purposeful inflows and outflows of knowledge to accelerate innovation internally, while also expanding the markets for external use of innovation. The concept of open innovation initially came from the business and then spread across different fields. The traditional type of innovation, so-called closed innovation, is characterized by the emergence and development of new ideas within the organization or corporate limits. So it's closed because the ideas are growing only internally. This could limit the quality of solutions due to the lack of different perspectives and fresh external points of view. Open innovation aims to solve this issue and brings diversity and openness in the organization's solutions, going beyond the corporate limits. The basic premise of open innovation is to open up the innovation process to all active players so that knowledge can circulate more freely and be transformed into sustainable solutions. According to the European Commission, innovation can no longer be the result of predefined and isolated activities, but rather the outcome of a complex co-creation process that involves knowledge flows and absorptive capacities from all actors involved across the entire economic and social environment. Here are some of the principles of closed innovation. All the smart people work in our organization. To profit from R&D, we have to discover, develop, and supply everything ourselves. Only if we discover it will we manage to get it to the market first. Our own organization is the first to commercialize an innovation. We will beat our rivals. If we create the most and best ideas in our industry, we will win. If we have full control over the innovation process, our rivals will not be able to profit from our innovative ideas. And in comparison, here are some key principles of open innovation. Not all smart people work in our organization. External research and development can create value for our organization. Internal research and development is needed to grasp that value. We have to be involved in basic research to benefit from it, but the discovery does not have to be ours. If we make better use of external and internal ideas and unify the knowledge created, we will win. We should optimize the results of our organization, combining the sale or licensing of our innovation with the purchase of external innovation processes whenever they are more efficient and economic. There are two types of open innovation. Outside in, where the ideas, patents, and competencies come from outside the organisation. This type of innovation, when the company opens up to external inputs and contributions, is known as outside in or inbound open innovation. Examples of inbound open innovation are acquisitions, mergers, licensing in, minority equity investments, and R&D contracts. Inside out or outbound open innovation, on the other hand, is less common and happens when the organisation allows internal ideas to go outside and to be used by others, such as licensing out, divestments, and spinning off. Other strategies that have been associated with open innovation are linked to collaboration and joint initiatives between different actors, mainly private companies, such as coupled processes. Here are some benefits and challenges of open innovation. With the help of open innovation, an organisation can have a high quality of results due to additional external points of view. It also brings operational and management transparency and creates synergies between industry, public sector, and academic organisations. As a result, collaborations between different partners are increasing. The open innovation process does face some challenges, such as existing organisational norms and rules favourising mostly closed processes. There are also IP issues that could arise during open innovation. Of course, organisations need some additional resources to make open innovation processes work. Living labs are defined by the European Network of Living Labs as user-centered open innovation ecosystems based on a systematic user co-creation approach, integrating research and innovation processes in real-life communities and settings. The Living Lab methodological approach is focused on enacting open innovation in developing innovation solutions. The Living Lab methodology promotes open innovation and co-creation of value among different stakeholders, especially users. How are the right people brought together in open innovation? And how do they know that they are the right people for each other? The Living Lab brings a common framework for trust building. The Living Lab facilitates and supports the innovation journey and is sometimes referred to as the operator. The Living Lab is independent and helps to avoid any conflict of interest among the collaborating parties, can open up new contacts and financing streams. Likewise, the Living Lab allows the initiators of the idea to embark on the innovation journey on an even ground, just like anyone else, with their own very valuable knowledge, skills, and ideas. The Living Lab enables an innovation team to join a community and to share their idea with other people within the programme to get valuable feedback under the protection of the rules of the game. So why do we need to consider open innovation? To have more ideas, see the video on this topic for the Innovation Booster Living Labs for Decarbonisation, where our team is actively involved in supporting and funding innovation teams to develop their ideas for the energy transition. Different levels of openness are supported by a legal framework of laws, licenses, and contracts. This image illustrates the level of confidentiality and exclusivity in red versus transparent and inclusive in green. For example, a trade secret is very confidential and closed, while copyleft open source licenses are very open. Different types of legal tools and measures to protect intellectual property rights are explained further below in the section on intellectual property right basics. The search for new ideas or solutions has different stages of innovation and modes of collaboration, and different degrees of openness may be applied to these in order to maximize creativity and inventiveness. The more open or libre a project is, the more contributors and contributions it might receive. That being said, no one needs to go full disclosure on everything, and different moments offer different opportunities for openness or closeness. The legal framework for open innovation is set out mainly through the traditional legal system of country laws and local laws. However, an additional set of rules and agreements can help to support open innovation. These include, for example, the governance rules of the Living Lab, which could be set out in statutes, for example. If the Living Lab is operating within a programme or a project, specific rules may apply that are set out in a consortium contract or other types of team agreements. The Living Lab can develop the rules of the game for many groups of people coming together in open innovation. These are developed in line with the governance model. Lawyers would say you need contracts and regulations. However, in open innovation, rules of the game are needed and can be facilitated by the Living Lab. Those who want to join the game should be able to, and those who do not want to must be able to leave. In order to have the right people on board, people sharing the same philosophy, fundamental collaboration values should be formulated in the form of a community manifesto. Open innovation is not only about which problem you want to solve, but it's all about mindset and how you solve it. The community manifesto should be accepted by every participant joining the Living Lab. The terms of service provide important clarification on eligibility criteria to the community, on behaviour within the programme, and the roles of the various parties and openness standards. The terms of service provides important predictability on how the game can and cannot be played, and prevents predatory behaviour when sharing knowledge and ideas when multiple teams come together to ideate, co-design and get feedback on their idea. They may be quite generic and standardized, like instructions or a list of requirements. The terms of service should be consistent with the values expressed in the Community Manifesto. Examples of these documents can be found in the links on the slides. A more specific set of team rules or team or service agreement is needed to outline how the open innovation team will work together, and how confidentiality, degree of openness, and how intellectual property will be dealt with. The degree of openness can be determined through a team or service agreement, or decide to apply more open licenses to parts of their background intellectual property. The team agreement outlines how the team will address foreground intellectual property created during the project, which is explained further in the next section. Degrees of openness can also be outlined in a memorandum of understanding, contract agreements, non-disclosure agreements, which are considered quite closed. Here is an example of a community manifesto from the Sweet Lantern Consortium in Switzerland, which is developing 5 energy living labs addressing problems and solutions in the energy transition about how people live and work together. How can the law assist in establishing a new approach to new open innovation and craft legal tools establishing universal and sustainable use of high quality technical inventions going beyond the realm of software? The inclusive patent from Van Overvelde aims to include rather than exclude others. It encompasses the right to enforce sharing behaviour and take non-sharing users to court. A registration payment is obtainable at low cost. This may meet the needs of both the innovator firms and the innovator communities. It offers a powerful property entitlement to enforce the sharing ethos. Let's move on to intellectual property rights, IPR, and their basics. The rights relating to ownership of intellectual property are called intellectual property rights, or IPR. These rights aim to protect intellectual property by allowing the creators of trademarks, patents, or copyrighted works to benefit from their creations. Thus, the purpose of IPR is to reward human intellect by providing exclusive rights to the creators over their inventions, artistic, musical works, etc. There are different types of IP, such as patents, trademarks, designs, as well as geographical indications and copyrights. We won't go into the details, however, we will focus on the essential elements for Living Labs. Copyright is applied more to literary and artistic creations, ensuring the necessity to have authors' permission to use the results. The industrial property covers trademarks, patents, geographical indications, industrial designs, and trade secrets. Copyright is applied more to literary and artistic creations, ensuring the necessity to have the author's permission to use the results. The protection of industrial property covers trademarks, patents, geographical indications, industrial designs, and trade secrets, for example. Some specific examples of IP results are inventions, artistic works, names, symbols, and other graphic materials. There also exists a separation between moral and economic rights. Here are some key terms of intellectual property types. Background IPR. This is where all the knowledge that's relevant to the collaborative venture is supplied by the partners at the start of the project. It should be outlined in the team agreement. Foreground IPR is all the knowledge within the collaborative venture that is produced during the project's tender. This is governed by the specific team rules agreed upon by the members of this innovation team and should be outlined in a contract. Sideground IPR is all the knowledge that's relevant to a collaborative venture but produced outside the project by any of the partners during the project's tenure. Postground IPR is all the knowledge that's relevant to a collaborative venture that's produced by any of the partners after the project ends. So why should we consider IPR? The primary function of intellectual property rights is to protect and stimulate the development and distribution of new products and the provision of new services based on the creation and exploitation of inventions, trademarks, designs, creative content, or other tangible assets. The various reasons behind granting protection to intellectual property through the enactment of suitable intellectual property laws are as following: to encourage the investment of skills, time, finance, and other resources to innovative and creative activities to promote the social, economic, scientific, and cultural development of our society, to provide legal protection to intellectual creations, preventing the authors from unauthorized use of their creative results, to facilitate fair trading, to give recognition to the efforts of creators, to promote creativity, co-creation, and dissemination of innovative solutions. Here are some of the benefits of IP. protection of the results of your work, a competitive advantage, enhancing the value and opening opportunities for collaboration, as well as helping to attract stakeholders. However, IP does face some challenges, such as the need to assign efforts, time, and costs for getting IP protection. Then, even after getting the IP right, you might still face some difficulties in curbing the copying and unauthorized use of your work. IP rights aren't absolute. There are certain limitations and conditions imposed by law on the exercise of these rights. The Living Lab has an important role regarding the needs, rules and regulations regarding the sharing and licensing of data and intellectual property of collaborative outcomes. A data management plan for each of its projects should be developed in the Living Lab. There should be a fair distribution of benefits and burden. The provision of details of the technical and organizational aspects to safeguard the rights and freedoms of the participants should be considered. Collaborative agreements should be put in place to organize the IP of project outcomes. User agreements, consents with each individual user in the Living Lab may be required. IP processes are important to enable the successful iteration and scale-up of solutions and to build trust amongst participants. The panel and pilot managers are key in developing and establishing these processes in Living Labs. We encourage you to think about open innovation and IPR and to share knowledge, information and experience, more than to limit access to your results of your Living Labs work. Here is a video presenting an expert opinion concerning the basic principles of open innovation and IPR. In this video, Sari DeProyer, IP lawyer at Crowell and Mooring, introduces you to the benefits of open innovation, the default rules of IP that apply in the setting, and how to well prepare the handling of IP issues before and during open innovation. There are different types of licenses to protect the property rights, including Creative Commons, Open Data Commons, and Public Domain. These types of licenses support scale-up and dissemination of solutions and are particularly important in the energy transition, where an urgent need for knowledge transfer and innovation is required to address the climate crisis. Creative Commons licenses have, in their turn, different subtypes according to the attributed permissions for future users. Here is a short e-learning video of Quentin Adler, who's a legal practitioner and researcher and specialist in open licenses, speaks about open innovation and how to deal with the legal framework, as well as its risks and opportunities. He also discusses when is the right stage to consider the legal framework in an open innovation project. So when should you think about open innovation, the legal framework and intellectual property in your innovation journey? It's never too early to align mindsets, values and approaches. Once you have a common understanding of the problem you're trying to solve and you begin to explore promising ideas together, it's time to consider a memorandum of understanding, a contract or an agreement outlining the relevant legal aspects, the team members, the background IPR, and the levels of openness. Co-designing, prototyping and testing are also important steps in the innovation process, where these aspects should also be clear, so that when a successful solution has been co-created together, its implementation, scale-up and dissemination can be progressed quickly. Here are some key takeaways from Module 1.6. Being the innovation intermediaries and coordinating different stakeholders, Living Labs could significantly benefit from open innovation. Open innovation has been proven to have multiple benefits specifically for the climate and energy transition. IPR has different types and fields of application. The Living Labs could choose according to their specific projects and results. Open source licenses could help to launch projects in the fields of sustainable urban development and energy transition. Living labs could face the questions of the IPR during co-design testing, results publication, and scaling up phases of the Living Lab integrated process. If you want to read more about research and open innovation, here are some useful resources on the topic. The content of this module is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 4.0 license. For more information about this license, you can follow the link on the slide. However, the property rights on the external resources referred to in this module might differ from the Creative Commons license, and therefore need to be checked before remixing, adaptation, or other kinds of reuse. Thank you very much for your attention from me, Fiona Zimmerman, and our team, Joël Mastalik and Anastasia Pomomareva from the Applied Sciences University of Western Switzerland. In the next modules, you'll learn more about tools and methods on each step of the Living Lab integrative process.